class, I'm back. Got a new hat representing Georgia Bulldogs. Alright, don't forget to get down your objectives, your VICs, and each example in this video. Alright, today's objective is we're going to be computing division of fractions by fractions, and we're going to be using models to do that. Similar, just like what we were doing last week, we're going to be making models. Alright, I want you to go ahead and get this down. This problem, 3/4 divided by 1/3 equals what? This is an example of what we're going to be doing in this model. Alright, I will give an extra dojo point to anybody who brings theirs in with colors on it. Alright, so you can use crayons, colored pencils, or markers. But if you add some colors to your notes, I'll give you an extra dojo point. Alright, let's look at VIC number 1. Alright, VIC number 1, go ahead and get this down. When dividing fractions by fractions, rewrite the problem using a common denominator. Alright, and I'm about to show you guys how to do that. Alright, example 1, we're going to rewrite this problem 5/6 divided by 1/4 using a common denominator. Alright, so first I'm going to show you how to get a common denominator. And what it is our LCM, our least common multiple. So I could take 6, which is one of our denominators, 4, our other denominator, and we're going to list the multiples so that way we can find which one is our least common multiple. Alright, so 6, I know 6 times 1 is 6, 6 times 2 is 12, and 6 times 3 is 18. Alright, I'm going to do the same thing for 4. 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, and 4 times 3 is 12, and now I see that I have a common multiple here in 12, so my least common denominator would be 12. Alright, so now I need to rewrite my problem so that 12 is the denominator for both of my fractions. Go ahead and get this down. And remember, you can always pause the video. That way you can get your notes. Alright, now that we know our common denominator is 12, we need to rewrite our problem using our common denominator. So I'll just make it a little bigger here and I'll show you how to do that. Alright, first we know we need a 12 here. So we have to think to ourselves, 6 times what gets me 12? Well, if I know my multiplication facts, I know that 6 times 2 equals 12, which means I also need to multiply my numerator by 2. Remember, whatever I do to the denominator, I have to do to the numerator to make an equivalent fraction. Same thing here with the 4. 4 times what gets me 12? Well, you have to know your multiplication facts, but 4 times 3 is 12, and remember, the same thing I do to the denominator, I must do that to the numerator to keep it as an equivalent fraction. And now I can rewrite my problem. 5 times 2 is 10. 6 times 2 is 12. Divided by 3 times 1 is 3. And 4 times 3 is 12. And now I have rewritten my problem using a common denominator. I didn't change anything about my fractions except that I made them into an equivalent fraction. Alright, and now we're going to see how do we use the common denominator in order to divide fractions easier. Alright, let's look at VIC number 2. Alright, Vic number 2 says that you must have a common denominator before making your model. All right. In the beginning of the video, I said we're going to be doing models in order to solve these type of problems. So, before we can make a model, we have to make sure that we have a common denominator. All right. So let's go ahead, get down example 2. Yes, I do want you to write this problem down because this is a good example of the type of word problems we're going to be doing in class. All right, so let's look at it. Madison purchased 11/8 cups of strawberries. If she eats 2/8 cups per serving, how many servings does Madison have? Use a model to prove your answer. So first, I had pre-made a model here. And what this represents, since this is a division problem, we have an 11/8. Madison is purchasing 11/8. She's going to divide 11/8 of those strawberries into servings. So each time she eats them, she's only going to eat 2/8 of the servings. So our job is to figure out how many servings could Madison have. Well, I draw a fraction bar, and this fraction bar represents 1 cup, or 8 out of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But Madison she purchased more than 1 cup. She purchased 3 more eighths of a cup. So we have to draw another, that was a little too big. We have to draw another fraction bar, or part of a fraction bar, to represent exactly what Madison bought, because she really bought 1 cup and 3/8. All right, because this is an improper fraction. All right, so now when we divide, we have to think how many servings, 2/8 servings, can Madison get out of that, out of what she purchased. Well, I can do that by knowing that each serving is 2/8. So this would represent 1 serving. Two servings. Three servings. 1/8, 2/8. 4 servings. 5 servings. And she has a half of another serving left. So our quotient would be 5 and 1½ serving. So she has enough strawberries to eat 5½ servings. All right. Let's look at a similar problem. Example 3. Now imagine that Akeem, Madison's classmate, purchased 11/8 cups of strawberries. If he eats 3/4 cups per serving, how many servings will he have? Well, this problem is really similar, except that Akeem eats a different amount per serving. Maybe he likes strawberries more than Madison. All right. So this problem would be 11/8 divided by 3/4. Now, unlike in example 2, this example, we do not have a common denominator, so we have to rewrite our problem using a common denominator. Well, I can look at 8 and 4, and I know that my LCM is 8. All right, that's my least common multiple, because 8 times 1 is 8, and 4 times 2 is 8. So to get 8 here, I would need to multiply times 2. And remember, whatever I do to my denominator, I must do to my numerator. to get 8 here, I can just multiply by 1, and that's pretty much just going to leave this the same. So when I rewrite my problem using common denominators, I get 11/8 divided by 6/8. Alright? And remember, Madison, she only had 2 8s per serving. Akeem eats 6/8 per serving. Alright? So this is where I rewrite. This is my rewrite. We rewrite the problem using a common denominator. Alright? Now we take that. So now that we know Akeem eats 6/8 per serving, we can draw our model. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 1 cup. But remember, he has 11/8. So we have to draw another 3/8. 9, 10, 11. Alright, so this is how much Akeem purchased from the store. Each serving, if we remember, is going to be 6/8. So how many servings can Akeem get? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 1 serving. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of another serving. So he can't get another full serving. He only can get 5 out of 6 that are needed for a serving. Alright, so our quotient for our problem would be 1 whole serving, and 5/6 of another serving. Alright, and boys and girls, remember, if you ever have any questions about the videos, you can always send me a comment on Edmodo and I'll try to answer your questions. But that is what you do. You rewrite the problem and then you make your fraction bar model using the common denominator. Alright? The last thing I want you to do is I want you to do this on a separate sheet of paper and bring this in with your notes and your homework. This is just an independent practice. I want you to, like I said, complete it on a separate sheet of paper. 3/5 divided by 2/3, and I want you to tell me what that equals. The first thing you're going to be doing is rewriting that problem using a common denominator. In this problem, you do not have a common denominator, so you guys need to make equivalent fractions and rewrite it using a common denominator. After that, I want you to draw a model to support what your answer is. Alright? Draw a model, bring this in on a separate sheet of paper, and we'll get it. And as you can see, UGA won. Go Dogs. Sick 'em.